Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about the row related to the inauguration of the new parliament by the Prime Minister instead of the President. Not a very important editorial as a passage, you may not get it, but it is important from vocabulary point of view. And today there is a lot to learn from grammar point of view. Before we go to the editorial vocabulary, today you're going to work on spot the errors, Jumble, not Cloze Test. You're going to work on words and meanings, and you're going to work on word profile. Let us go to the editorial vocabulary. A lot of words are there, important words. The very first word, acrimony. This is a word of the day. Acrimonious, acrimoniously. Different forms are there. So, part of speech noun. Acrimony means what? Anger, argument, and bad feeling. Usually, we also use the word bitter. Acrimonious argument, bitter argument. An important word. Anger, argument, and bad feeling. It has a negative connotation. Counter, counter as a noun, I'm sure you all know. Kitchen counter, some other counter, ticket counter. But here it has been used as a verb. As a verb, it has a different meaning. So, counter as a verb, what does it mean? To react to something with an opposing opinion or action, or to defend yourself against something. Usually, it goes with defending oneself. Someone says something against you, you try to defend, then you give a counter. It can be a noun, it can be a verb. Do remember. And next, part of speech noun. An extra building added to a larger building. There's already a large building. An extra building is added to a very large building. That is known as annex. Irony, we have got many a time. Part of speech noun. A situation in which something which was intended to have a particular result has the opposite or a very different result. You do something expecting a positive result or a particular result, but you may have the opposite result or a different result. Here you have to recollect words like irony, paradox, paradoxical situation. Two opposing things exist together. And irony, you expect something positive, but you may see something different. Here there is one idiomatic expression. You do something, this goes more with actions. You try to do something expecting a positive result, but you get a negative result. Then we say his attempt has boomeranged. Boomerang means to have a negative result. That is also an important expression. Majestic, an important word. Part of speech adjective. Beautiful, powerful, or causing great admiration and respect. Majestic usually goes with buildings. Edifies. In the editorial also they have used with a building. Edifies, building, a common word, a simple word. Edifies, it goes with effective English. Part of speech noun. Majestic adjective. A large building, especially an impressive one. What is the combination that has been used? Majestic edifies. Partisan. We got the word bipartisan yesterday. Partisan, part of speech adjective. Strongly supporting a person, principle, or political party, often without considering or judging the matter very carefully. Blindly supporting someone, you can take it that way, without judging carefully. Then we use the term partisan, part of speech adjective. Optics goes with physics. I'm sure you all know that. But here it has got another connotation. Optics, part of speech noun. The public's opinion and understanding of a situation after seeing it as a media shows it. Media projects in a particular way, and that's what the public people receive and how they look at it. And the possible political effects of this, political impact of this. Starker, stark has two or three meanings. Stark could be adjective and it can be adverb. Starker, comparative form. Here, adjective. Completely or extremely. Complete or extreme. Starker, stark. And that's an important word. Substantial, we have got many a time. Part of speech adjective. Large in size, value, or importance. Substantial improvement, considerable improvement, large improvement. Glitter goes with everyday English. It goes with sometimes clothes as well. Glittering dress. Glitter, part of speech verb, to produce a lot of small bright flashes of reflected light. It has two or three meanings. It also goes with some a particular segment, a particular field. A lot of people get attracted. So then we say glittering field of fashion industry. Deliberations, an important word, part of speech noun, considering or discussing something. We discuss something very seriously, then we use the word deliberations. It's a formal word. Hostile, we have got recently, part of speech adjective, unfriendly and not liking something. We also use words like enmity, antagonistic, hostile, an important word. Ascent goes with mountaineering, part of speech noun, opposite descent, the act of climbing or moving upwards, the act of coming down, descent. Predominance, an important word, part of speech noun, predominantly adverb, predominant adjective, predominance noun, a situation in which one person or group of people has more importance or power than others. Someone dominates. Here you can look at dominance. Someone dominates, then we say predominant. Erosion goes with soil. I'm sure you all know. And we have got this once or twice in the recent past. Part of speech noun. Erode is a verb form. Erosion, noun. The fact of one meaning, removing the top layer. But here, the fact of a good quality or situation being gradually lost or destroyed. Erosion of values. Erosion of standards. Typical combinations. Core, we have got many a time. Core competency, I use regularly. Core, part of speech adjective, competency, noun. The basic and most important part of something. The essential thing, your caliber, your expertise, your core competency, an important word. Let us see how the editorial starts. Lost opportunity means what? There was an opportunity, it was lost. On the acrimony over the inauguration of the new parliament building. Acrimony, acrimonious, acrimoniously. Part of speech, noun, anger, argument, and bad feeling, ill feeling. But what is the main idea of the editorial? The inauguration of parliament building should have marked a fresh start. Whatever you see in green, grammar related, should have marked. We use, there's a pattern, should plus have plus verb, past participle form. This is a helping verb, a lengthy one. What is a function? It is used to express an unfulfilled duty or a neglected action. There are two dimensions. One is unfulfilled duty. Unfulfilled means not completed. Duty at the workplace. Neglected action, rather personal. The inauguration of Parliament building should have marked a fresh start. There was an opportunity to start afresh. It did not happen. Should have marked a fresh start. The inauguration of the new Parliament building scheduled for. This is an important expression you have to remember. The inauguration of the new Parliament building scheduled for May 28th could have been an occasion of national unity. But unfortunately, politics is taking center stage. Take center stage, be in the limelight, become the most important thing. We have already got that. But before I explain, here, scheduled for grammar point of view, exam point of view, an important expression you have to remember, could have been. Here, there is another pattern. Could plus have plus verb, past participle form. What is the use of, what is the function of that? We have already got this. There was a possibility for something to happen in the past, but it did not happen. We use it to express a past possibility. I could have won the match. I could have come in time. I could have done it. There was a possibility, but I did not do. Then what do I say? I could have done. So here, you may wonder where is the main verb. Sometimes what happens, in place of the main or action verb, we use a primary auxiliary be. And what is the past participle of that been? Could have been. It talks about a state. could have been an occasion of national unity, but unfortunately, so there was a possibility to display national unity and integrity, but unfortunately, politics is taking center stage. Usually, politics, here it is considered one unit, so singular verb. Unfortunately, politics is taking center stage. Another important expression you have to remember. This sentence is about the occasion. What is it? The inauguration of the new parliament building scheduled for May 28th could have been. There was a possibility. Now I don't think that is going. The editor does not think it is going to happen. Could have been an occasion of national unity, but unfortunately, politics is taking center stage. It provides the background information. Opposition parties have announced they would boycott the event. Here the verb is in past, so will changes to would. Opposition parties have announced they would boycott the event, pointing out that the president, the head of state, here, some students may wonder head of state. Generally, when we look at the word state, we have the connotation we have a state like Telangana, a state like Andhra Pradesh, a state like Tamil Nadu, any state. But state has two meanings. It goes with polity. If you talk to a student of political science, the moment you say state, he does not think of as a normal state. He thinks of there is a term called nation state. What does it mean? A country or a nation that is sovereign, not controlled by anyone, politically independent. So here, the president, the head of state, the country, and not the prime minister who is the head of government. It talks about the president, the head of state or the country, and not the prime minister here, and not. That is an important expression. When you use and not, remember the verb agrees with the first subject, not the second subject, and not the prime minister who is the head of government should have been inaugurating the building. What does the sentence say? It is the president who is the head of the state. It is not the prime minister who is the head of government, and based on that, the president should have been inaugurating the building. It is not the prime minister. It should have been the president inaugurating the building. Should have been, same pattern used again. Opposition has taken a stand. The editorial says there is merit in the opposition argument. There is merit in your argument. There is merit in the stand you have taken. What does it mean? There is some validity. To some extent, it can be justified. Based on that, there is merit in the opposition argument. Though a boycott is too extreme a response, no doubt there is a valid point in the opposition argument, but here, though a contrasting word, a boycott is too extreme a response. Again, here you see something in green. Too extreme a step, another example. Too extreme a response. Remember this expression as well. It's a phrase. Too extreme a step, too extreme a response. Though there is a merit, it is boycotting is too extreme a step. The government and the opposition have contributed, present perfect, to converting this two into an episode of acrimony. This particular event, this particular incident, this particular occasion, both the government and the opposition have contributed to converting this two into an episode of acrimony. Episode usually goes with TV serials. Here, episode of acrimony means what? Something, a bad feeling, bitter feeling, very angry, which has already made meaningful functioning of parliament very difficult. Because of this, has already made, whenever we come across words like already, lately, recently, yet, we have to use present perfect tense, though exceptions are there, which has made present perfect, has already made meaningful functioning of parliament very difficult. Because of all this, meaningful functioning of parliament has become very difficult. In a joint statement, the opposition has said, this is again very important, I should have brought it in green, has said The moment you see the verb said, you have to think of indirect speech. And the reporting verb said, if it is in past, all the tenses change to a corresponding past tense. It is all about that particular topic. But if the reporting verb is in present, present perfect, or future, the tenses don't change to a corresponding past tense. Based on that, the opposition has said, here the reporting verb is in present perfect, has said that this undignified act insults the high office of the president and violates the letter and spirit of the constitution. Whenever we talk about the constitution, we use this, the letter and spirit, the actual objective, the intentions. This undignified act, dignified, undignified, insults the high office of the president and violates, goes against the letter and spirit of the constitution. This is what the opposition has said and has specifically mentioned that India has its first woman Adivasi president now. Opposition has specifically mentioned that India has mentioned present perfect. India has present tense. Its first woman Adivasi president now. The BJP, the Bharatiya Janata Party, the BJP has countered. Counter here has countered present perfect used as a verb to defend yourself. Someone points out and you try to defend, then you try to counter their statement or their allegation. Here, the BJP has countered the charge by recalling that former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi had inaugurated, that goes into past perfect, the Parliament Annex building on October 24th, 1975, and Rajiv Gandhi had laid the foundation. This is again in past perfect, and there's an important verb, lay, laid, to put something down, and it goes with eggs, roads, rules and regulations, foundation stone, things, babies. These are the examples you have to remember. A typical example, lay the foundation stone, had laid, past participle form, the foundation stone of the Parliament Library on August 15th, 1987. The inauguration of an annex or a library is not, however, expresses contrasting information. The inauguration of an annex or a library, two examples, by the former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, by the former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, is not, however, comparable to the inauguration of the majestic edifice of representative government. Here there are two important words. This particular slide, a lot of words are there to learn. One, majestic, beautiful, powerful, causing great admiration and respect. Edifies, a large building. You can also think of the word mansion, but mansion goes more with individual's house, a massive building. We use words like bungalow, mansion. But edifice goes more with public, in the sense a company or a government organization. The building, large building of the government, we use the term edifice of representative government. We cannot compare. The editorial says both are different. Inauguration of annex or library entirely different compared to inauguration of majestic edifice of representative government. In this context, the parliament. Turning a milestone in the journey. When you travel, you come across milestones. Literal meaning, while traveling, we see the milestones, but it has another connotation. Turning a milestone in the journey. Milestone also means reaching a particular stage, an important stage. Then we say milestone. Turning a milestone in the journey of the nation, that means an important situation, an important incident, an important event. Turning a milestone in the journey of the nation into a partisan event, changing, turning an important occasion into a partisan event. Partisan means supporting blindly someone without any justification, without considering carefully the pros and cons. Is certainly bad optics. This particular thing, what is it? Turning a milestone in the journey of the nation. Nation is traveling. There's an important occasion, inaugurating new parliament building. That is a milestone. And turning that or changing that into partisan event means what? It has a negative connotation, supporting blindly someone or something without any justification or without considering all the factors. and this is certainly bad optics. Optics actually it goes with physics, I'm sure you all know, but in this context, optics, the public's opinion and understanding of a situation after seeing it as a media shows it. The media projects in a particular way, and the people they'll have a look at that and the possible political effects of that, the impact, political impact of that. But what is more worrisome, all this is in the place of a subject, it's a clause. Something is a substantial damage. What is a substantial damage? What is more worrisome is a substantial damage. Substantial means what? Considerable, large, important, any of these words you can think of. But what is more worrisome is a substantial damage that is happening to democracy. The irony cannot be starker. Two words, irony. Irony and also paradoxical. A situation in which something which was intended to have a particular result has the opposite result or a very different result. Then we say irony. And starker, part of speech, adjective or adverb, completely or extremely distinct in this context. Though a new glittering physical space for deliberations is opening, the new building, though a new glittering, shining physical space, the new parliament building, for deliberations, discussions, careful discussions is opening, interactions between the government and the opposition are either absent or hostile. Whenever we resort or we depend on deliberations, there should be some sort of rapport between the parties. But this sentence is about there is a building, a new parliament building, glittering physical space for deliberations, for discussions. It is opening. At the same time, interactions between the government and the opposition are either absent, no interaction between the government and the opposition, or hostile. Hostile, an important word. Hostile means what? Unfriendly and not liking something. I also use words like hostile, enmity, antagonistic. It is a negative word. Based on that, democracy is not about buildings and statues. This is the opinion of the editorial. Democracy is not about buildings and statues, but about deliberations and the search for common ground. Democracy is all about deliberations, means discussions. Why should they discuss? Search for common ground to find the solutions. The ascent of executive power. Ascent means moving upwards. It goes with mountaineering, and it could also mean something going up, the act of climbing or moving upwards. The ascent of executive power at the cost of parliamentary authority, at the cost of someone or something, is a growing concern. It is something that one should worry about in many democracies, and India is sadly witnessing the same. This is again the stand taken by the editorial. The ascent of executive power, who are at the top, at the cost of parliamentary authority, is a growing concern in many democracies, and India is no exception. India is sadly witnessing the same. The new building is a part of the reconstruction of the Central Vista, which is the seat of the government of India. They have reconstructed. The BJP government did little to take the opposition into confidence. Take someone into confidence. That's an important expression. What does it mean? You believe in them, you try to invite them, you have a discussion with them. Then we use they have been taken into confidence. But this sentence says the BJP government did little. That means it did not do anything. Little, hardly anything, almost nothing. A little, at least some. The little, whatever is there, or something specific. The BJP government did little, means it did not do anything to take the opposition into confidence. Not only the president, but also the leaders. Not only, but also. Goes with parallel expression. Not only the president, but also the leaders. Here we have a noun, even here we have to have a noun. Not only the president, but also the leaders of the opposition should have had active roles, have had. Here again, should have done, should have completed, should have had, should have been. We have used the primary auxiliary have in the past participle form. An important pattern. Should have had active roles at the opening ceremony. They have no role to play, and based on that, the sentence says they should have had active roles at the opening ceremony. Parliament is meant to hold the executive accountable to the people. What is the function of Parliament? Objective. It is meant to hold the executive accountable to the people. All these elected members are accountable to the people. It is not a venue, a place for executive predominance. It is not a place for executive predominance. Predominance means what? A situation in which one person or group of people has more importance or power than others. It ends, how does it end? The unfortunate trend in recent years is a continuing erosion of this core function of parliament. Erosion of this core function. That is a trend, unfortunate trend. A trend can be fortunate, can be unfortunate, can be positive, can be negative. This sentence says unfortunate trend. The unfortunate trend in recent years is a continuing erosion of this core function of parliament being eroded, removed, slowly, gradually making it less powerful. The inauguration of the new building could have been, there was a possibility, did not happen. The inauguration of the new building could have been an opportunity for course correction. Already there has been a trend, and there was an opportunity to correct that course correction. It did not happen. The inauguration of the new building could have been an opportunity for course correction. Unfortunately, it did not happen. That's all about the editorial. Let us go to questions based on the editorial to test your comprehension, reading comprehension skill. First one, what is this editorial about? What should have marked a fresh start? Keywords. What is certainly bad optics? New word, so try to write the answer, you will be able to remember. Democracy is about what in the context of the editorial? It is not about something, it is about something else. So, what is it about? You have to answer. What is not a venue for executive predominance? Venue for executive predominance. You should be able to answer based on the key words. Let us go to practice questions based on exam topics. Yesterday I had a very tight schedule. I could not bring a lot of exam topics. But let us start with the first five questions go with error location. Read the first one very carefully. Try to spot the error. Russia's invading of Ukraine has helped ignite a boom in clean energy investment, which will significantly outpace spending on fossil fuels. Today, we don't want to use fossil fuels because of the negative impact. We try to depend on renewable sources of energy, non conventional sources of energy, eco friendly. Yes, here Russia's invading. Invade is a verb. Invade, invaded, invaded. Invading, it can be a verb, it can be used as a verb, it can be used as an adjective. Invading opponent, invading enemy. But here we cannot use an adjective, we cannot use a verb. We have to use a noun. So, what is a noun form of that? Invasion. Invasion. I'm sorry. Invasion. That is the right word. So, what is this question about? Word form. The more you try to come out, the more you go into it. We also use the word bog, quagmire. Only a few seconds, a few seconds. Please have patience. Only a few seconds. Nothing to do with the network connection. It has got something to do with OBS Studio. At the heart of this fiscal quagmire, financial quagmire, is a lack of bipartisan consensus on how to avoid repeating cycles of national economic stress stem from the debt ceiling itself. Where is the error? Do you still have the problem? Please answer. Very good. Wonderful. Only one student has responded but got it right. There is an error in the last part. What is wrong with this part? Here, economic stress coming from. It means we have to use the ing form. Stem, not correct. It should be stemming from. Fine. National economic stress stemming from the debt ceiling itself. Stemming, originating, coming from. The verb, the word stem can be a noun, can be a verb. And as a noun, you all know stem of a tree or a plant. As a verb, it has a positive meaning, it has a negative meaning. It could be stem positive, to start, to grow, to originate, negative, to stop. Stem something, stop something, block something. Only one student has answered. Only one, exactly. Go to question number 3. If Susan were a human being, it would be apparent to us that she had suffered injustice. Not an easy one. You have to read very carefully. Question number 2 over. You have to go to question number 3. If Susan were a human being, it would be apparent to us that she had suffered injustice. Whenever you come across a word if, you have to become alert. You have to think of conditionals. You have to think of wishes and desires. The other dimension, which is not easy to handle. No one has responded. No, 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 no. It would be apparent. Here we cannot use she. No one has got it. Who is this? Stone with T capital letter. Answer is no error. Thapa also says Rajeshri and Stone. No error. When you come across a sentence like this, first you have to focus on if. Susan were, would. This goes conditionals one dimension. There is another dimension, that is wishes and desires. Typical example, if I were a bird, I would fly around the world. I'm not a bird. Based on that, if I were a bird, I would fly around the world. Impossible. More than impossible, this goes more with wishes and desires. Here, if I were a bird, I would fly around the world. Two words are very important. One is were, irrespective of the subject. Generally, I was, she was, but irrespective of the subject, we use were and would. So, were is there, would is there. She had suffered in the past. So, nothing wrong with this. Don't use V1, V2, V3 in my session. Who is this stone? Please don't use those expressions. I'm against those expressions, and I tell students, if you take that approach, there are only 3 forms. No, any verb has 5 forms. Then you will have a lot of doubts and you won't get answers. Please go to question number 4. Frequent transfers of officials before they could even familiarize themselves with the departments they were working, minimized any potential for vision, consistency, and efficiency in governance. No, nothing wrong with transfers, nothing wrong. No, nothing wrong with minimized. This is a tough question. If you answer this, great. No, no, nothing wrong with that. No, no, nothing wrong with whatever you say. I will give you a few seconds. No one has got it right so far. Here, frequent transfers of officials, no, no problem. Before they could even familiarize themselves with the departments, there is an error in the second part. Before they could even familiarize themselves with the departments, not in the, they were working, nothing wrong with the second one. They were working, there is an error here. They were working not complete. The departments they were working in, the departments they were working in. One preposition is missing, in. Usually preposition, the literal meaning, something that comes before preposition. But English has rules, English has exceptions. Sometimes prepositions come at the end of a sentence or end of a clause. What are you looking for? Whom did you come with? The book you are looking for is in the library. So here, end of the clause, there should be a preposition. The departments they were working in. Then it is correct. Avinash has got it right. Read this one. The possibility of a dystopian world, a future world, imagined world where there's a lot of suffering, a lot of problems, where machines surpass humans, is a remote potential threat, the likelihood of which need more discourse and deliberation. Manoj, within no time, that's really good. The likelihood of which, need is not correct, needs. Needs, very good. We have to add to the verb s. It needs, sentence is in present tense. This jumble also not easy, but try to take elimination approach. A lot of students have got it right, very good. But cannot be the first one. We pronoun cannot be the first one. Some demonstrative adjective cannot be the, it can also be a pronoun. No, cannot be the first one. Instead, cannot be the first one. There has been a rise, hold this one. Recently, hold this one. By technology cannot be the first one. F is not the first one. How do you decide whether it is E or F? F is not the first one. Who is this? Venkatesan has got it right. E is the first one. How do you decide? F talks about a particular area. What is that? Public health care. But here, E is a general statement. There has been a rise in warnings against artificial intelligence. First general, then specific. Once you get E, second one is not that difficult because this is incomplete. There has been a rise in warnings against artificial intelligence. By whom? Very good. Hema has got it right. By technology leaders, researchers, and experts, and many others. E.g., one pair. This is general. Based on that, you have to consider the next one, specific. What is the third one? E.g., one pair. Perfect. What is the third one? C is not the third one. Then first we have to look at the context talks about international and national. First international, then national. Here, international, there has been a rise in warnings against artificial intelligence by technology leaders, researchers, and experts, and many others. Recently, the World Health Organization called for caution in using AI for public health care. This is international specific. F is the third one. Now you have to come down to national level. What is the next one? Obviously, but international, they have been telling people to be careful with artificial intelligence. Contrary information, but there have been fewer voices in India to echo Niti Aayog's initiative for responsible AI. Now national level. Fourth one is A. And contrary, adding more information to that, excuse me, some journal papers and articles warn of impending dangers. AC. Fewer voices and some journal papers and articles warn of impending dangers. May happen any moment, likely to happen. AD is not correct. We have D, B1 pair. Instead of waiting for more industry leaders in India to add their names to this list, we need to realize that the time to pay attention and prepare is now. DB1 pair. EGFACDB. This is the correct order. I appreciate all those students who have got that order. Let us go to the words you got yesterday and the meanings along with parts of speech. Philip, that's great because I have not given enough time. Getting this para jumble not easy. If someone has got it right, great, highly appreciable. Please go to the first word, Philip, part of speech. Noun. Very good. I appreciate all those students. And what does it mean? Something that causes sudden improvement. Answer is E. Constraint, noun. Something that controls your movements, something that regulates, restricts. Answer is I. There is a constraint, part of speech, noun. Space, constraint. Space, adjective, constraint, noun. Sojourn, an important word, part of speech, noun. A is the answer. A short period when a person stays at a particular place. Answer is A. Spotlight, noun. It has two different meanings. One goes with the stage, theater, another you have to find out. Fourth one, receiving a lot of public attention. Spotlight. Someone is in the spotlight. We also say he is in the limelight. Recollect that also. Substantive, part of speech, adjective. Substantial, adjective. Extremely large. No, no, no. That is not the answer. Important, serious, important, something important. G is the answer. 5G, yes, very good. Avinash. Who else? Rajeshri, Naidu, very good. Anisha also. Go to the sixth one. Exult, exulted, exulted. Part of speech, verb. Means what? Express great pleasure or joy. Answer is D. Sixth one. Have you answered the sixth one? Why the seventh one? Mammoth means extremely large. It could be a noun, but based on the editorial adjective. Extremely large. B. Mammoth crowd. Adjective. Vandalism, noun. Vandalize, verb. Vandal also a noun. And related words, deface, graffiti. Vandalism means what? No one has answered. Eighth one. Crime of intentionally damaging someone's property, not exactly. Crime of intentionally damaging public property. That is a better expression. Public property. Conducive atmosphere, conducive environment. Part of speech, adjective, obviously. What does it mean? What are you left with? Providing right conditions. Diaspora, an important word. Part of speech, noun. A group of people who have migrated from one country to another country. They have left a particular country, they have gone to another country. And the word of the day, acrimony, an important word. Part of speech, noun. Anger, argument, and bad feeling. The decision was reached without acrimony or controversy. Acrimonious, adjective. Full of anger, arguments, and bad feeling. Their marriage ended 8 years ago in an acrimonious divorce. Acrimonious divorce. Divorce noun, acrimonious adjective. Acrimoniously adverb. He was acrimoniously fired after a boardroom row. Row means an argument, a dispute. He was acrimoniously adverb form. Synonyms, caustic, you have to remember. Acerbic, you have to remember. Scathing, you have to remember. Antonyms, happy, pleasant, no controversy, no conflict. That's all about today's editorial analysis, this session. Hope you guys have got enriched. Have a nice day. Do remember to subscribe and share. And evening we